Our episode opens with Alisha sprinting towards the Fortina delegation. Could it truly be Azor, or perhaps another? The figure resembled him, yet she raced onward, needing to see for herself. Ignoring the prohibition against unauthorized contact with envoys, Nina disregarded the rules completely. She practically flew down the steps, a blur of motion, deftly avoiding those who attempted to intercept her. Agile and swift, like an Agilan warrior, she finally reached her destination. And there he was. He had actually journeyed to see her. Gasping for air, she felt a surge of relief, convinced just moments before that she might never lay eyes on him again. Tears welled up, a wave of pure happiness threatening to burst her heart. KXI addressed the envoys, and one relayed the king's unexpected abdication in favor of Prince Azure. The decision was abrupt, resulting in a hastily arranged, private coronation attended solely by kingdom residents. A more formal ceremony, with international representatives, was planned for spring. The envoys were present to deliver this very news. Alicia was stunned. But why? Why so suddenly? She questioned. The envoy cautioned her against speaking so freely, emphasizing the delicate nature of the situation, particularly given the secrecy surrounding Azor's affection for her. Alisha still harbored doubts about the veiled man's true identity. Is everyone back in Fortina all right? She inquired anxiously. An envoy began to respond, but she cut him off, agitated. Not you. I want him to answer. She pointed directly at the figure she believed to be Azure. Answer me, she demanded. He remained silent. Alicia's bewilderment grew as the envoy explained the man was a mere mercenary, unfit to converse with someone of her standing. As they departed, Alicia yearned for him to turn, to acknowledge her, but he refused to even so much as glance in her direction. Back at the palace, Alisha replayed the encounter in her mind. She was certain those were Azar's eyes, now filled with something akin to disdain. Was his coldness due to her departure from Fortina, despite the lengths he'd gone to ensure her safety? She had made the choice to leave without his counsel, essentially abandoning him. It was no surprise he now seemed to resent her. Later, Prince Saint inquired about Alash's unusual quietness, asking her maid for an explanation. If you're curious, Your Highness, the maid replied, ask her yourself. She's right there. Saint expressed his surprise, noting he'd never witnessed such a reserved demeanor from her. There must be something troubling her, he observed. The maid speculated that perhaps Alisha was experiencing homesickness after encountering the envoys from her homeland. What might lift her spirits and restore her usual vibrancy? Saint wondered. The maid suggested, perhaps she longs for familiar flavors or objects reminiscent of her home. Taking this to heart, Prince Saint directed his servants to prepare a feast of delicacies. He presented the elaborate spread to Alicia, who looked on in astonishment. Is there a celebration I'm unaware of? She asked. No, he responded. This is entirely for you. Indulge in whatever pleases you. She confessed to lacking appetite, but her maid whispered, My lady, I believe he's attempting to comfort you. Alicia was taken aback. Truly? Saint would do such a thing for me? She resolved to compose herself. Sampling a sweet, she remarked, This is exquisite, truly delightful. Silently, she pledged, I swear to the heavens, I will safeguard both Fortina and Azure. The narrative then shifts to Uar and his sibling. Have you come to observe the Fortinan envoys as well? His brother inquired. They expressed their disappointment at the absence of women among the delegation, revealing their fondness for the fair sex. The discussion turned to Fortina's new sovereign. York cautioned his brother against underestimating the young king, highlighting his success in thwarting their intelligence-gathering efforts, not just within the palace but from their merchant spies as well. This development might compel the king to reconsider the royal succession. Their conversation was interrupted by Prince Tut's arrival. He disclosed that the king had initially intended to postpone the invasion of Fortina for 3 years, but recent events had accelerated the timeline considerably. We returned to Alicia, hastily moving and concealing herself from the numerous guards. She was resolved to encounter the envoys once more, desperate to confront the one she loved, to confess her true feelings and explain everything. The guards were startled when she approached, bearing sweets she claimed were a gift for the envoys. They reiterated the need for official permission to meet with them. As she turned to leave, she unexpectedly bumped into the delegation, scattering her offering. Finally, she saw Azza, his face unveiled. Overwhelmed and flustered, she was suddenly swept up into Prince Saint's arms. I understand your homesickness, he stated, but this eagerness to meet with the envoys is excessive. It could lead to accusations of espionage. Release me, she retorted. That's absurd. The man in the center, he aided me greatly once. Inwardly, she chastised herself for her impulsive words, realizing they could endanger him. Azor responded calmly, "You are mistaken. We meet for the first time here." She addressed the envoys. "When do you depart? Please convey a message to my father, the queen, my brother Mahalam, and also to my brother Azza, the newly crowned king. Tell them Alicia will always protect them from the distant land of Galgada." The episode concludes with a question. What awaits us? Will Azza and Alicia's connection be exposed? Will war erupt between Saint and Azure? Will all be well in the end? Prince Saint urged her not to fret, assuring her the envoy's departure wasn't imminent. The king, he explained, had insisted on their presence for the upcoming festival, likely a pretext to delay their return. He mused on the new Fortin and king's unexpected competence, suspecting a hidden agenda. Abruptly, Saint brandished his sword at Azure, who didn't flinch. Nina cried out, forbidding such behavior. Azure offered apologies for any perceived offense. The festival's culminating event, Saint declared, is a combat tournament in the Colosseum, open to all. I shall inform the king of the envoy's desire to participate. An envoy protested, but Saint cut him short. Success in the tournament will earn you a handsome reward. Later, as Azar and his retinue retired to their quarters, an envoy cautioned him against excessive courtesy towards the prince, lest he reveal his true identity. Azir sharply silenced him, reminding him of the Galgatan soldiers stationed just outside. The envoy apologized, confident in their discretion, but Azure warned, even whispers can carry to unintended ears. He then summoned Hakami. "Whose side are you on?" he inquired. Meanwhile, Mahalam, Azor's brother, stood vigil at a window, anxiously awaiting his brother's return. Their mother entered, chiding him, "You'll catch your death standing there." He confessed his worry for his brother, who despite his newfound kingship, remained absent from the castle. Their mother voiced her own frustration. "I still cannot fathom your father's decision to relinquish the throne. Now all he does is play his guitar." Having overheard a previous exchange between Azure and the king, Mohallam grasped the weight of their father's choice. The king had charged Azure to rule for a single year, to dedicate himself fully to Fertina before meeting his demise. His mother gently urged him towards bed, promising him a future reign. We rejoin Elijah in Galgada, amusing herself with her pets. Her maid entered, inquiring about their proximity to the Purple Wing. Nina confirmed their location, then instructed her pet, should you need to flee, seek refuge in the wing housing the envoys. She knew Izor was close, within the castle walls, yet further contact remained forbidden. Still, she held on to the belief that her vow to protect him had reached him. Her maid mentioned the all-female guard contingent in the Purple Wing, speculating on their participation in the rumored tournament. Beto arrived, announcing that each competing wing could nominate a single representative, excluding witnesses and generals. The tournament, he explained, offered a chance to showcase strength, with victory bringing honor and the victor's choice of reward. Nina pondered aloud the possibility of her own participation. Beto responded, "No rule prohibits a princess from competing," offering his sword as a test of her strength. Straining beneath its weight, Nina acknowledged its heft. Beto chuckled, "You're far too petite and delicate. Princesses are meant to be cherished, not to engage in such pursuits." He then requested her maid to assist with a demonstration, irritating Nina. "You have enough women vying for your attention already," she snapped. Beto smirked. "I haven't relinquished my pursuit of your hand, you know. But your admirer will likely attempt to win you through the tournament." Surprised, Nina responded, "I was under the impression princes were excluded from competing." The scene changes to UR conferring with his advisors. "I shall liberate former General Holt from the Eastern Dungeon," he declared. "I will pardon him and name him the Black Wings champion. Upon his victory, he shall receive whatever his heart desires." His men were incredulous, skeptical of Holt's chances, especially given the formidable White Wing contenders. However, if Prince Saint himself is unable to compete, the White Wing boasted numerous skilled warriors, but if Prince Set couldn't personally participate, he may be a convicted criminal, but the former general's prowess is undeniable, UR continued. "If we fail to act decisively," he reasoned, "the king will rescind his decision to re-evaluate the succession. I will secure the king's commitment before the court and the populace. I will not permit Set to ascend the throne. Princess Fertina will be my bride." The narrative then focuses on Alicia. "I will master the sword," she resolved. "I'm beginning to understand the need for greater strength." Her maid responded, "Surely you don't intend to participate?" Alicia sought permission to train, which everyone but Azo refused. "I have no objections to instructing you in swordsmanship," he offered. "I oversee the soldiers' training. You must learn to anticipate your opponent's actions and strike first." Alicia retorted, "Thank you. but it appears you would be a dreadful instructor. It seems so straightforward, she mused. I used to act without regard for others' opinions. I would strike down anyone who opposed me without hesitation. But you, I find you utterly perplexing. You're more intricate than fencing itself. Alicia responded, I won't allow you to decipher me so easily. The following day, Azo commenced Alicia's training. How can he behave so casually after yesterday's events? She wondered. He's merciless. He inquired if she wished to continue, prompting Alicia to strike. I've never known Prince Set to exhibit such leniency during training. Alicia, fueled by anger, declared her intent to defeat him. She lunged, but Set easily blocked her attack. Do you intend to strike with the scabbard still on? He quipped. Set's companions marveled at Alicia's audacity. This girl, at least, possesses speed and cunning, Set remarked. She's observant, and with further instruction, she could become quite formidable. But why is Set assisting the princess? Another wondered. There's something unusual about Princess Alicia, and Prince Set seems different as well. Perhaps the princess has become indispensable to him. Later, exhausted from training, Alicia received a visit from Nina and Maifa. They hold you in high regard, Nina observed. Even Prince Set's servants seem fond of you. I'm certain the people of Galgada will embrace you as well. The staff at Bastia Castle clearly trust you. Alicia responded. I cherish them all, but I experience a peculiar ache in my chest whenever I think of Set. A tightness that compels me to cling to him. There are things and people I find myself caring for more and more deeply. Fertina is my birthplace, my home. But Galgada, too, has become precious to me. There are individuals I value in both places. Therefore, I yearn for these two nations to coexist peacefully. I wish to protect all that I hold dear. And someday, I hope to reveal the truth to Set and the others. Under the cloak of night, Hikami sought Alicia. Do you have a moment? She inquired. Where are we going? Alicia asked. That wasn't my intention, Hikami replied cryptically. But you have 30 seconds. Remain silent. Suddenly, Set stood before Alicia, filling her with joy. There's one thing I can promise you now, he declared. I vow to return you to Fertina before your wedding in the spring. Alicia, tears streaming down her face, confessed, You're making me fall in love with you. The internal conflict she felt threatened to tear her apart.